So after we looked through demographics, we wanted to say to ourselves, what are the things about dining and the options that they have that actually these groups have in common? So if we had to create a baseline, if you will, or table stakes of sort of how do we actually appeal to these different archetypes of students that are out there. And these 6 that are listed here were the top ones that were in common across all of the student types. So offering healthy and nutritious options, using the highest level of ingredients, having great value, good tasting food, a variety of options, things that we wouldn't be surprised, right? So convenience and value and quality. And then lastly, this use of local ingredients. Obviously with this generation, that starts to pop even more so. And so you see some of the, particularly in the happy and successful group and the independent and focused, you see some of that being more important for them as sort of, even if it's not every item, but at least some items that have a local presence to them. So the notion here is that if at least we can achieve or sort of serve these 6 different attributes, that we start to appeal to a broader group on campus. Importantly then is okay, how do we tailor some offers for each of these segments? So one of the things that we also did in this survey was test some specific ideas to see what appealed to folks and what would actually influence their decision to be on a meal plan, their likelihood to sign up. So that's how you read this chart. Likelihood to sign up is on the vertical, and then their preference ranking. Did I give it first, second, and third among these 13 ideas that are listed here? And very similar to what we're going to continue to hear that's important for people is this notion of helping to manage a budget, convenience, and customization tend to rise to the top as things that are going to be highly preferred as well as influence their desire to sign up. So you see some examples here around rollover of funds, right? I don't want to lose my meal options from one semester to the next. Meal delivery service. So again, this notion of convenience and having meals brought to them, whether it's at the library or after class. And then thirdly, this notion of designing their own meal plan. Give me an ability to actually customize and tailor how many meals over what period of time in terms of other aspects of what offers I can get, guests I can bring, and then prices I'm willing to pay. You can see one of the things that's interesting here too is that this is the broad population. We also looked at this by the different archetypes. And interestingly, something like ingredient prep for take home, sort of the blue apron, if you will, for campus life. What was interesting there is that spiked very high for the independent and focused population. So it sort of validated this behavior that we're seeing among that population, that an idea like that, the ability to have ingredients sent to their home so that they can prep their own meals, was appealing for them. We followed up with a lot of the students to actually have more live conversation and focus groups with them. And in addition to understanding some of these concepts and validating some of the behaviors that identified in the archetypes, we tested a few other ideas, and these are just some of the ratings that we saw on a score of 1 to 5. So these are the top ones. Interestingly, they align with some of the characteristics and motivators that we saw among students. So this notion of a 24-hour access to food, right? So who would that be appealing to? The busy and challenged group, right? That had trouble fitting in their time relative to open times. A free snack box delivered to your dorm or your apartment. The independent and focused would appreciate that. Take, or make food from every dining hall. That's something that the happy and successfuls and academic successfuls would want because they're on the move. They're trying to get things done. They want to be able to get in and get out if they need to, or go somewhere else where they can interact with students.
So I'm going to spend a few minutes to kind of talk through the Gen Z student, the experience and the expectation that they have when they show up on your campus, and actually when they show up in our workplaces. So a few things to consider. We thought about their favorite spaces, and we took the work that was done with the McKinsey group, but also the work that we've done internally with surveying our students, and we walk away with a few important things. Favorite places. 60% of students are looking for outdoor spaces. Libraries continue to be a critical and growing place where students want to gather to both be social, to study, and to connect, along with dining spaces. And dining spaces going throughout the entire platform. Thus, the growing need for dining services inside of libraries and outdoor spaces became critical. It was something that we took forward with us as we thought about a future model for our student experience on campus. We then asked ourselves a couple other questions. So what makes it a great space once you get there? We understand where you want to go, but what makes that space great? Well, one is, can we connect? Can we connect consistently and stay connected to friends through internet, social media, and other platforms? Can I study connected? That was very important. Comfortable furniture, and not just comfortable furniture that it's a great place to sit, but also a great place to gather and to collaborate and to spend time together. The other one was this idea of access to food and food being in places where I go. So great spaces had several things that went along with them that made them great places to gather.